The moment you choose to care for yourself with the same love you give to others, you become unstoppable. True legacy starts with wholeness, not hustle. It's about you being whole because when you're healed and when you're whole, you can hold space for others that perhaps are not there yet. Your team doesn't follow your instructions. They reflect your well-being and your boundaries and your beliefs. Greetings, and welcome to the Whispers of Wellness. I am your host, Coach Charlene, and I am the Wellness Whisperer. I am excited. This is my part 3 of the series that I started with. Actually, it's about personal development and how personal development can enhance your professional effectiveness. And so I talked in the last 2 videos about some tips and some tricks about how you can really focus in on your development, because self-development is the most important thing that I think you can ever do. I know my husband, he always shares a quote by Jim Rohn, and Jim Rohn says that if you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune. So there's gold within each and every one of us. There's so much potential that we possess. And it's just about releasing the potential that is actually always there. And we do that through growing. And so our part 3 is going to be the legacy of wholeness, being a leader that transforms lives. The most important thing that you can do is to be a leader that transforms lives. You don't want to just be a leader that just has a title. You want to make an impact with those that you are leading. So it's not just about the job that you do, it's about the legacy that you leave. And true legacy starts with wholeness, not hustle. It's about you being whole, because when you're healed and when you're whole, you can hold space for others that perhaps are not there yet. And so this is going to be very important, because really my question to everybody is, if you're a leader, how do people feel when they leave your presence? Even if there's correction that needs to come or feedback that needs to be administered, how do people feel when they leave your presence? And so that's why I say it's always important for us to work on ourselves. We have to always work on us. Now, number 1, leadership is a mirror. Your team doesn't follow your instructions. They reflect your well-being and your boundaries and your beliefs. They're looking at your brand. They may not be saying that, and that's why I think brand is so important. And when I say brand, I'm talking about who people say that you are when you leave the room. Like, what are people saying about you? Not that you necessarily, I know some people are like, well, I don't really care what people say, but yeah, you really do. And you really should. If you're going to lead people, you want to know that you have made the greatest impact while you're in the room, so that when you leave, when your presence leave, they still know and they still honor who you are in that space. And so your brand, I like to always tell the story that, I drink Starbucks occasionally. And there's a drink that I love. And so I can get that drink anywhere in the world and it tastes the same. Well, one day I went to this organization and they had the Starbucks logo up there. So I got my usual drink. So, no big deal for me. I got the drink because I'm expecting it to taste exactly the same, because when I went to Italy, it tasted the same. When I went to the different places in the world, it tastes the same. And so I got my drink, tasted it, and oh my God, I almost like spit it out because it was not the brand. See, Starbucks had built trust. I can trust that it tastes like it tasted, but this was not it. That was like a fake. So the logo is kind of like fake, counterfeit. Yeah, you may have a logo, but I don't really feel your authentic presence. So when I cross that over to leadership, you may have the title, but do I feel the essence of your leadership? You see, that's the key. The key is the essence of your leadership. When I come and I make contact with you and I'm leading you, can you feel the essence that I have literally been doing the work. I don't have to tell you that I'm doing the work, but you can sense and you can feel that I've been doing the work. Your brand is important because that's how you build trust. That's how I established so many wonderful relationships while I was leading, is because I worked so hard on myself, my personal life, my self development, so that I can be the best human being that I could be. Not that I was perfect, so don't get me wrong about that. But I'm saying there's a place where we can get where we are walking in this authentic presence where people feel you when you come into the room. Now, the second thing I want to talk about, when you're whole, you give others permission to heal. Imagine leading a team that's not just surviving, but they're thriving, they're innovating, and showing up with their purpose. That's really not a dream. That's the ripple effect of a whole leader. A whole leader has the ability to inspire other people to want to be better, to want to achieve more, to want to go for more, to want to be better human beings. And so that's really what you need to do. So you have to be okay with doing the work so that you can become whole. Number three, your impact begins with your identity. When you know who you are and you aren't afraid to lead with your heart, you become a force of cultural transformation. You shift systems by simply being aligned. Now, I'm going to spend a little time on this one because this is so important. Impact begins with identity. Who are you really? Who are you behind all of the long titles that you have? How are you? How's your person? Who are you really? I really want you to really think about this because your identity comes from you doing the work. You see, I know who I am. Yes, I'm a nurse. Yes, I got my master's. Yes, I'm a consultant. Yes, I'm a coach. Yes, I'm a minister. I have all of these things that I am. But who is the essence of Charlene? See, I always describe it like this. My occupation was nursing, but my vocation was someone who inspires. It's someone who lights the fire within versus underneath. You see what I mean? So that's so important, and that you can only find out who you are with asking yourself the questions. You have to go deeper so that you can understand who you really are. Who are you in the midst of challenges? Who are you when things are not going your way? Who are you when you're alone? When the lights are out, when nobody's around looking, who are you then? You see, that's what I'm talking about because when you understand who you are and then you actually decide to become it, I like to say it like this. I like to use 3Ds: self-discovery, self-manifestation, and self release. Self discovery is me finding out who I am. And I want to find out who I am because a lot of times other people's expectations has trickled in and became a part of who I was. If you have someone that was like you trusted, or it could be a parent, it could be a leader, or whoever it is, and they said negative things to you for such a long time, some of that gets in you. And so you become what you think about all of the time. And so if you're constantly thinking about some negative words that someone spoke into your life, then it starts to get on the inside of you. So it's really important for you to do the work yourself. You start exploring, who am I? And you do that because you love yourself. You need to find out, what do you like? How do you respond? How do you react when you get angry? How do you do the things that you do? Find out who you are because I'm telling you, it's such a beautiful place when you find out who you are and then you're not ashamed to be who you have been destined to be. It's a powerful thing when you find out. Like when I found out that one of my key superpowers was the ability to radiate love to humanity, man, that's a superpower. So it happens naturally. When I show up, I'm releasing love naturally. I'm allowing it to flow from me. So I didn't take that away because I was a leader. that was still who I was. So I led in that spirit of love. So every day when I show up, you're going to hear me say, "Good morning, you're loved and appreciated." I don't need a response back, but I'm releasing love into the atmosphere because that's what I want to be remembered for. And I'm telling you, it definitely worked. I still get texts today, even after retiring last year in July, people saying that I really miss from you telling me that you love and appreciate me. So that presence that I carry, my brand was a brand of presence. It was a brand of peace. It was a brand of love. And I am not ashamed of the fact that my heart is huge and that I'm a lover, because people will try to intimidate you or to try to tell you you should stop doing A, B, and C, but you have to do what your leadership tells you to do. And that's where I love this quote that comes in, that maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming, it's about unbecoming everything that's not like you so that you can become who you were destined to be. See, that's by Paul Coelho. And you know what? That's so important because you have to peel off the layers of other people's expectation, other people's words that they've put in your life. Other people's words that you have accepted, because you have to accept it in order for it to become a part of you. So you start chipping away at those particular layers. Unbecome someone with a bad attitude. Unbecome someone that complains all the time. Unbecome that person that is woe is me all the time. You can unbecome all of that so that you can become who you were destined to be. And so that's why identity is important. So I talked about the number one D is discovery. The second one is self-manifestation. And when I say self-manifestation, now I know who I am because I've discovered who I am. And now I'm deciding to become it. So guess what? That takes work. That's where the personal development comes in. That's where I do the work outside the work so that I can become a better human being. So I start taking classes, I start praying, I start doing all the things that help me to become me. Okay, that's manifestation. And that's a process. Just like a baby goes through 9 months, it's a process before they become mature. You're going to constantly be going through the self manifestation process because you will be going from level to level to level into different environments, so you being your authentic self, you'll know how to flow. And then the third one is self release. Now that you know who you are and then you've done the work, now, it's nothing to it but to release it. But you have to release it. You have to decide to release it because you can't wait for anybody else to tell you to be great. You can't wait for anybody else to tell you, okay, you can go ahead and do it now. You don't need permission. You are now, you know who you are. You've done the work, and now you're deciding to release yourself to be all that you were destined to be. I know I had to spend a little time there because I know a lot of people that don't know who they are. Your leadership is advocacy. Every time you choose integrity, rest, compassion, non judgment, and authenticity, you're changing the game for the next generation of nurses. You actually, um, wait, let me repeat that. So, number four, you're gonna have to cut this to start lighting. I gotta get a drink of water. Sorry, if you can clip that out for me. Number four, your leadership is your advocacy. Every time you choose integrity, you choose rest, you choose compassion, you choose authenticity, you choose vulnerability, you're changing the game for the next generation of nurses, caregivers, and leaders. Your leadership is your advocacy. And see, that's why the internal work is so important. Do you lead with compassion? Or do you have nervous energy that really affects everybody that you're around? Are you authentic? Or do you have a mask on? Are you performing? Are you just doing the job? See, it's about that authenticity, you getting to know your true self as a leader. The Gallup study found that managers account for 70% of the variance in employee engagement. Wow, 70%. So your inner development directly impacts the team morale, productivity, and retention. Why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing it up because I'm telling you, as a manager, I was a manager, that is one of the hardest jobs ever, honestly, because there's so many different veins that you have to operate in. And so your presence impacts the morale, the productivity, and the retention. There's so much riding on you as a manager. And so that's why I truly believe that organizations have to do more to empower their managers, their assistant managers. I mean, intentional well being work, intentional personal development work, those things that actually doesn't look like it fits into the clinical space because we're clinical experts, but we also, you can have a clinical expert that is a horrible human being in the sense that they have not taken care of themselves. So they are not nice. They are short with patients. They are short with coworkers. They haven't done the work. So that's why I think organizations, if they want to level up and to really get to where they're really desiring to be, that they would provide the resource for the staff to perhaps take a personal development class and actually offer it to them so that they can be poured into as they're pouring out. I will close with this. The moment you choose to care for yourself with the same love you give to others, you become unstoppable. That's a good quote, you guys. I want you to really breathe this in. The moment you choose to take care of yourself with the same love you take care of others, you become unstoppable. You have to start loving you enough to take care of yourself. That means that I have to intentionally, deliberate, and on purpose take some time off for me. I have to spend 30 minutes working out. I have to not get home and then binge eat. I have to start doing things that will add value and life to my life. You see what I'm saying? That's how we transform healthcare from the inside out. We choose to care for ourselves because you love yourself. And if you're struggling with loving yourself, then why don't we just start right there? Let's get back. Let's take some time and start finding out the reasons why you don't love yourself so that you can unbecome those reasons so that you can be the brilliant diamond that you are. And so, this is my call to action for you guys. If you want to be one of those leaders who doesn't just manage teams, but you transform lives, and you need a little bit of help with that, I'm willing to help you. So, why don't you do me a favor and put help in the chat if you need extra support? And we can do a 15-minute and beyond. So, thank you so much for listening. And I just want you to remember that well being starts within. Okay, hold up. I want you to do something a little smart to start a minute. Sorry, I should have had all this organized, but I didn't. So, I'm going to need you to cut this out too. Thank you so much. Then, I would love to talk to you about my new book. And it is When the Moment Chooses You, From Silence to Strength, a nurse leader's journey to finding her voice and unleashing her impact. I have learned so much over these 32 years of nursing. And so I put a lot of my stories in this book, and I truly believe that you will be inspired. There are reflective exercise and questions after each chapter. I truly believe it will help you if you're feeling that you're not being seen, you're not feeling heard, that you know that there's something more that you're supposed to be doing. I am inspiring you to do that in this book. So if you are wanting to go on a journey with me, because I'm going to start kind of giving some different things with my book, little workshops and things like that. But make sure you look on Amazon. You can get either, there's a hardback copy, soft, and of course, Kindle. If you are an organization and you would like to purchase these for your staff, especially with Nurses Week coming up, and willing to definitely do that, just email me at info@wellnesswhispererconsulting.com. I will put that information in the comments, but I truly believe that it will make a difference in your life. And thank you for listening to the Whispers of Wellness, and I'll see you next time.